Spiders, light work, no reaction. Dang. Y'all are really afraid of spiders. Yo, what's good? It's Josh. So today we're gonna be ranking phobias. As you know, I don't like S, A, B, C, D. That's boring. So I created my own names for them. We got, get me out of here! Peed on my pants a little. Teeth low-key chattering. Not a fan. Light work, no reaction. Am I a scaredy cat? How much am I really gonna pee my pants? Only one way to find out. Let's get right into it. So we're gonna go in order here. We got adult men, light work, no reaction. In the grand scheme of things, it's light work, no reaction. I understand if you're a woman walking in the dark in a dark alley, it might be pretty scary. I mean, even as a man in the dark walking in a dark alley, I might feel a little bit of fear, but my rule of thumb is if you look like you're about to go rob somebody, you're probably not gonna get robbed. Most of them put them in light work, no reaction, but second place, get me out of here! Adult women, light work, no reaction. And I'm putting them in front of men because I have been threatened by men before, but not by women. So there's no reason for me to be more afraid of them than men. I said the same thing. Light work, no reaction. I feel like a lot of the reason why people put them in get me out of here is because they're afraid to go talk to them. But I don't feel like they have an actual phobia of women. Aliens? I don't know what kind of aliens we're talking about here. If we're talking about the alien in that picture right there, I'm not afraid of that. If we're talking about aliens from like the movie Alien, yeah, that's terrifying. I'm gonna put them in like teeth low-key chattering because the idea of life coming from another planet isn't ridiculous. I know there has to be, but that is kind of spooky, I'm not gonna lie. Light work, no reaction. I guess I'm just a big baby, I guess. Okay, dang. Babies, light work, no reaction. I don't see why somebody would have a baby phobia. Babies themselves and giving birth to a baby are two different things. I'm assuming it's talking about babies and not childbirth. Yeah, light work, no reaction. I don't know what kind of experiences 565 of y'all have had with babies, but hopefully you get over that fear. Bad breath? I'm not a fan. I'm not afraid of it, I'm just not a fan of it. I'm afraid of having bad breath and not knowing it. But somebody else's bad breath talking to me, I'm like, but I'm not afraid of it, you know what I'm saying? Light work, no reaction. Balloons? Light work, no reaction. Low-key, if like a gang of helium balloons decided to attack you and just like grab you and lift you up and drop, light work, no reaction. These aren't even scary, bro. Bats, have not had an encounter with the bat, but you know, I'm not a fan of them. Not a fan. Light work, no reaction. Oh, you think you're so tough. Timmy Tough Knuckles over here. Even Bruce Wayne himself was afraid of bats. Being laughed at, light work, no reaction. You cannot give these people any mind. They're gonna laugh, they're gonna talk, they're gonna do whatever they do. There's nothing you can do about it. It's all about how you handle it. At this point in my life, I don't really care about being laughed at. Dang. Y'all would rather go toe to toe with a bat than be laughed at. That's kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie. Being naked, it depends on where I am. You know, I'm gonna say teeth low-key chattering because I could be in a very crazy place. Embarrassment is the least of my worries. This is an entire crime. So teeth low-key chattering. What'd y'all say? Oh, dang. Being stared at, again, that's a step down from being laughed at. Who cares? If there are people staring at me, human beings, just because, it is what it is. Stare away. But if they're like animals, predator animals, staring at me because they want to eat me, okay, that's a whole different thing. Dang. Wait. Compare that to being laughed at. Y'all are some scaredy cats. Bigfoot, light work, no reaction because he's not real. Yeah, exactly. Light work, no reaction. I feel like there's implications of there only being one Bigfoot. If there's only one Bigfoot, that means he's endangered. Why would I be afraid of an endangered species that hides for all its life? Their first Bigfoot sighting was August 1958. I could do some quick math right now, but you know what? That would make him... Actually, no, I lied. If he's already a grown Bigfoot in 1958, he is old. It's like the Loch Ness Monster. There would have to be an entire race of Loch Ness Monsters. There's not just one Loch Ness Monster. There's not just one Kraken. If there's a whole race of Bigfoots, okay, cool, that's another species. Just like gorillas or whatever. It's just another animal. But it's not just one monster that's been around for all these years. Anyways, blood. I feel like in large quantities, I would be peeing my pants. But if I get like a paper cut or even like a blood draw, I'm not afraid of seeing my own blood. If I were to see like the aftermath of a Jason or Michael Myers killing, just the blood pooling on the floor, that would low-key mess with my head a little bit. But just a few drops doesn't bother me. Books? Bro, what are these submissions? Books, light work, no reaction. Why are y'all afraid of books? Almost 500 of y'all have some underlying issues, but most of y'all are normal. Bridges, that's a valid fear. Teeth low-key chattering, because After seeing Final Destination 5, I can understand where that fear would come from. I always feel a little uneasy when I drive on bridges. I would hate to get stuck on one. That's a valid fear. Teeth low-key chattering when I'm driving on bridges. Light work, no reaction. I guess I'm just a wuss then. Okay, thanks, guy. Buried alive? Peeing in my pants? A little bit. You know how heavy dirt is, especially like 6 feet of it? You can't really open up the casket with that much dirt on top of you, so I would low-key panic. And it's pitch black. Nah, low-key, get me out of here. You have limited air, mind you. Even if I wasn't in a casket, that's still really hard to get out of. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Imagine like, if it was cement, I would put it like in this tier. Butterflies? I low-key used to be afraid of butterflies. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, now, light work, no reaction. Dang, 171 of y'all, cancer? That is a very terrifying thing, and I pray health for everybody watching this. Okay, 261 of y'all are just built different, I guess. I pray every last one of y'all stay healthy, live a long and fulfilling life. In Jesus' name. Cemeteries? I mean, yeah, that whole trope of zombies coming up. We just talked about being buried alive and how difficult it would actually be to get out of there. So it just depends on how you look at it. In the daytime, yeah, sure, of course, I'll go pay my respects. But like by myself in the nighttime, if I was a headstone cleaner and I was working the graveyard shift, no pun intended, I'd be pretty afraid. What did y'all say? Oh, snap. Okay. Change. I am not a fan of change. That's where I'll put it. Wow, pretty mixed. Childbirth? I'm gonna rank it like the outward perspective of watching somebody that I care about give birth. I know it's a very painful and stressful thing, and just seeing somebody that I care about go through that, that's kind of scary in itself. But it's also beautiful at the same time. As a woman, my rating would be this for sure. The chupacabra. I'm gonna put this, I mean, I haven't really heard too many stories about it. I'm gonna say teeth low-key chattering. Judging from this picture right here, I'm not that scared, but I know that it's a whole like legend. Clowns, I can watch clown movies, you know. Pennywise doesn't bother me, Joker doesn't bother me. I'm not really afraid of them. I mean, I'd feel a little uncomfortable if my kid wanted a clown at their birthday party, but I wouldn't be so afraid of it that I would just say no. I would just let them have the clown, but I would be like, yeah, bro, thanks for doing this. And then I would just go on the other side of the party. I ain't gonna lie. Live work, no reaction. That's valid. Okay. The pictures they're using are not giving them justice. Like, you gotta use scary pictures to give accurate ratings. COVID. I've had COVID twice and I recovered twice. So I conquered COVID. I'm not afraid of COVID for real. But I'm not a fan of it at all. I hate COVID. I'm afraid of COVID in the sense of like somebody else I care about being infected with COVID and they don't recover as easily as I did. Y'all said light work, no reaction. But some people genuinely have been like hospitalized from this, so I can see why there's mixed reviews. Death, that's pretty scary. Whether it's me, whether it's somebody in my life, that's the number one fear. Get me out of here for sure. I don't think anything else is gonna top this, if I'm being honest. 466 of y'all said light work, no reaction. Okay, deep water. I can swim. Light work, no reaction. Oh snap. Okay, so if we're talking about like deep, like an ocean current, okay, that's pretty terrifying. I would say, yeah, get me out of here. But if it's like a 12-foot pool, light work, no reaction. I'm built like this. I'm gonna put it in the middle because it could be two different things. Demons, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. So I'm low-key gonna put this in light work, no reaction. The dentist. As long as you floss your teeth, you brush every day, you're not eating sugar constantly, you should be okay. Dogs, light work, no reaction. I'm a dog owner. I like dogs. I'm not afraid of them. A pit bull off its leash, I'm a little afraid of that. I ain't gonna lie. But just a regular dog on the street, light work, no reaction. That's real. Driving, I love driving. I know there is a lot of risk with driving, but all in all, I really like driving, and it's very relaxing for me. So y'all put this in the same thing pretty much. Earthquakes, I am fortunate enough to have never experienced an earthquake, but I've seen how they look in media and they are pretty scary looking. So I'm gonna say peeing on my pants a little bit. Teeth low-key chattering, that one won. In this picture, the buildings are literally crumbling down. So imagine being in one of those crumbling buildings. That's pretty scary. Environmental change, peeing on my pants a little bit because the same thing as change, but like on a larger scale. Environmental change is a whole different animal. You know, you don't know what could happen. Fire in a place that fire should not be. Teeth low-key chattering. Flying, understandable fear. I'm not afraid of flying. It's like on the border of not a fan and light work, no reaction, because I am a fan of flying. I do like being in airplanes, looking at out the window and all that, but I can understand why somebody would be afraid. Final Destination 1, you know, so I'm gonna put it right there. Y'all said, they say it's the safest form of travel, so germs, There are legit germaphobes out here. There's a mini germaphobe inside of me. So I'm gonna say like teeth low-key chatter. If I'm sitting across from somebody, like we're at a restaurant and they keep coughing, even if they're like covering their mouth, the fact that you're coughing right by my food. Y'all said light work, no reaction. Real. Ghosts? I don't believe in ghosts. So light work and no reaction. And y'all said the same thing. That's what's up. Going bald? That's a valid fear. Teeth low-key chattering. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how I would look bald. Growing old? Light work, no reaction. Growing old is a privilege. I'm looking forward to growing old. Very mixed. Yeah, I mean, I'm not afraid of that. I'm gonna embrace it. Heights? I'm not a fan of heights. I'm not afraid of them. I just would rather not be super duper high up. It's pretty mixed, but mostly teeth low-key chattering. Holes? That's that trypophobia, bro. I don't understand why people are afraid of holes. Like, it makes me a little uncomfortable, but I'm not afraid of it. Dang, 327 of y'all? That's really crazy. Anyways, horses? Bro, I'm not afraid of horses. I don't see why this is on the list. Light work, no reaction. Must have had a bad experience with the horse. Hospitals? I'm not a fan of them. I never liked shots as a kid. They would have to hold me down quite literally when I got shots. Now that I'm an adult, I'm not really afraid of shots anymore, but I still have that childhood association of needles. So, not a fan. Yeah, light work. A lot of these are light work. Hurricanes, those are scary. Again, I'm fortunate enough to have never experienced one, but I know how detrimental they can actually be. Evenly spread, but mostly teeth low-key chattering. I guarantee you, if a hurricane actually pulled up, you would do more than teeth chattering. You would be peeing your pants. Immortality, I'm not afraid of it. I just don't want that. Light work, no reaction. I mean, low-key, nah. If you think about it, the concept of being immortal and just being here until the end of time, even after the earth isn't there anymore, you're just floating in space, unable to die from any of the elements. You can't go to heaven, you can't go anywhere, you're just stuck. You would quite literally go insane with no one to talk to, nothing to do. There's no Wi-Fi, the earth is gone. That's pretty scary. I would hate being immortal. Oh my gosh. I'm not afraid of imperfection, but I like to do things to the best of my ability. Y'all said light work, no reaction. Injury? I'm pretty afraid of that. There are some injuries you just don't come back from. You know what I'm saying? I pray that God keeps all of us safe from injury in Jesus' name. Wow, teeth low-key chattering. I'll put it up there. I ain't gonna lie. Riding bikes, skateboarding, playing football, they all got to a point to where they're like, okay, yeah, we need to wear helmets. Insects, I'm not a fan of them, but I'm not afraid of them. Pretty spread out. Wow. Y'all are more afraid of insects than bats. Okay. Isolation. After a while, bro, isolation would drive you insane. My teeth are low-key chattering at the thought of being isolated. There's a reason that some people get solitary confinement, because it does something to you, man. Wow, very spread out. Loud noises, afraid in like a startling kind of way, but not like I'm just terrified of them. Needles. If I was like 15 years younger, I would put this all the way at the top. But as of right now, I'm just not a fan of. Nightmares, teeth low-key chattering. The feeling when you wake up and realize it was all a dream, that's a really good feeling. But, you know, obviously the nightmare itself sucks. Wow, very evenly split. That's real, because at the end of the day, it's all in your head. Ocean, by the shore, that's nothing. I'm chilling by the shore in the view of a lifeguard, but all the way deep in the ocean where there's nobody, like if I fell off of a cruise ship, get me out of here. Swim team or not, you can't do anything against that current, bro. 806, y'all are thinking about the beach. I'm thinking about the ocean, like deep in the ocean. That's a whole different animal. Pain? Yeah, I am a little afraid of pain, because pain is a spectrum. Pain can go anywhere from 1 to 10. So, you know, I'm put it right in the middle. Y'all said, yeah, right in the middle. Poison? Teeth low-key chattering. Poison is pretty scary. Wow, very evenly split. A lot of y'all put poison at number 1 and then go drink alcohol. I don't understand that. Public speaking, I mean, I took a public speaking class in college. I think that helped me a lot. But then again, I'm only speaking in front of a class of 30 people, but like a big crowd, like an auditorium of people, I'd be a little scared. Teeth low-key chattering, legs low-key shaking, heart beating out of my chest, all of that. It's a very scary thing to do. But in reality, people don't really care as much as you think they do. Especially in a public speaking class, they're not really judging you because they're focused on how their speech is gonna go. They're not thinking about you, to be honest. So that helped me out a lot. Rats, I don't like rats. I'm not a fan of rats. Not afraid of them though. Okay, light word, no reaction. At least half of these people are from New York. You know, they see those on a daily basis. AI robots, they have potential to be something very scary. But as of right now, my teeth are low-key chattering. Hopefully this doesn't go up any more tiers. But bro, I don't know. They're already making like a robot that can do chores for you. Sharks? Cows kill more people a year than sharks do. So as long as you're not bleeding, you low-key have nothing to worry about. And I wouldn't be out that deep anyway. So I'm gonna say no, not a fan of sharks. Even after seeing the movie Jaws, I'm not really afraid of sharks like that. Snakes are scary. Teeth low-key chattering. You can't even really outrun a snake. They're fast. An angry snake with a motive to kill you is so scary, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Space? I mean, deep in space to the point where you can't see planet Earth anymore, that sounds terrifying to me. But like just going to the moon on some chill stuff, that's not bad. But still, I mean, even like launching off of Earth, the most I've ever gotten on is a plane that's like right above the clouds. But to go way beyond Earth's atmosphere, that's a whole different thing. That's pretty scary. I would love to go to space though. Spiders, light work, no reaction. Wait, I didn't even show space. Okay, hold on. Space, light work, no reaction. Spiders. Dang. Y'all are really afraid of spiders. That's real though. Arachnophobia is a real thing. Strangers. As a kid, strangers were pretty scary, but as an adult, I'm not afraid of strangers. I'll just say not a fan. I mean, yeah. I'm looking at this man like he looks like he's up to no good. So in this sense, I'm afraid of strangers, but like a random person on the street, they're cool, they're chill. You know, light break, no reaction. Dang, y'all are afraid of strangers. Okay, that's crazy. That's a picture of lightning, but okay. Thunder itself, that's light work, no reaction. Lightning is low-key scary though. But thunder, it'll startle you, but I'm not afraid of it. You know, dogs would say otherwise though. Tight spaces, like it depends on how tight we're talking. I wouldn't say I have claustrophobia per se, but like being, even in a porta potty, I'm a little uneasy being in there. People going cave diving, that's really scary. I'm like, you can't even move your arms at all. You can't do anything. If cave diving was on here, that would be pretty high up on the list. Get me out of here. I would quite literally panic, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're in a cave, bro. Nobody can save you. Tornadoes, I used to have a really big fear of tornadoes, but then I realized that they weren't as common as I thought they were. Obviously, I'm not a fan of them, but I was like, they used to be like in the top 3 of get me out of here's. But same with quicksand. I thought quicksand was gonna be a lot more of an issue than it actually is. Oh wow, I keep forgetting to like look at the results. Tight spaces, valid. I understand that. Tornadoes, also valid. It's pretty balanced out. Trains, speaking, you can hear it in the background. Trains, in my opinion, are the safest way to travel above airplanes. You know, you're on the ground, you're on a set track. Unless somebody messes with the track, you're chilling. Y'all said light work, no reaction. It's nothing crazy. It really isn't. Vampires, well, vampires are not real, so light work, no reaction. But you know what? For the sake of the thing, let's say they are real. I'm gonna say peeing in my pants a little bit. Like a sinner's vampire, that's pretty scary. As long as you don't invite them in. I guess they're going off for like realisticness, but like if you think about an actual vampire being in your crib, werewolves, I'm gonna put them below vampires. Actually, no. I'm more likely to fight off a vampire than I am a werewolf. Okay, y'all are big and tough. Like I said, Timmy Tough Knuckles over here, not afraid of a werewolf. Witchcraft, I don't really believe in that, so I'm gonna put it in light work, no reaction. And the last one, a zombie outbreak. You can't think about realisticness, you gotta think about if it actually were to happen, would you survive? The state of the world after the zombie outbreak took place, that would stress me out more than the actual zombies. Just like seeing that the world that I used to live in is not there anymore and it won't go back to it. So that was the phobia ranking. A lot of these weren't even phobias at all, but most of them, they were, and they were really fun to rank. Let me know if you think I'm a scaredy cat in the comments. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. God bless you, and I'll see you next time.